Why is it that professional guitarists play solos that sound so good? How can they sound so unique and emotional, yet melodic and intentional, all at the same time? The answer isn't that they know more scales. In fact, I think one of the greatest fallacies that guitar students have been led to believe is that if they just learn a few more scales and patterns, it's going to unlock the ability to play great solos. It won't. That's why the number one complaint I hear from students is, I've learned all these scales and patterns, but I don't know how to use them to make music. Today, I'm going to show you the missing link that transforms memorized patterns into musical ideas by teaching you how to think about the fretboard more like pro players do. So grab your guitar, let's get into it. Just last week, I was talking with a buddy of mine. He's a Nashville pro. He's toured the world. He's opened for Grammy-winning artists at iconic venues like Red Rocks. We were talking about practicing, and he told me that he'd been spending hours trying to play melodically over a loop to the chord changes of the classic song Wichita Lineman. Think about that. He's a world-class guitarist, but he's not sitting around trying to learn more scales or play them faster. He's only using notes from the major scale and its modes. That's nothing an intermediate player shouldn't already know. So why do his solos sound professional and most intermediate players sound like they're practicing scales when they solo? Because my buddy doesn't practice trying to perfect scale shapes. He's practicing developing harmonic relationships. He's hunting for notes that reveal the personality of each chord rather than just running through patterns. That mindset is one of the biggest differences between intermediate players and professionals. It's more mental than physical, but the cool thing is thinking patterns can be learned just like scale patterns. Wichita Lineman was written by Jimmy Webb. It was made famous by the great Glenn Campbell. It's in the key of F mostly, and it starts off with the chords B flat major 7, A minor 7, and C7 sus4. Now I'm simplifying those chords a little bit, but that's enough for today's lesson. Here's the question that immediately comes to mind for everyone when they're asked to play a solo. What do I play over those chords? And we've already reached an inflection point in the way that pros and amateurs think. The amateur thinks, well, we're in F major, so I'll just noodle around in F major pentatonic and I'll be fine. And that's pretty much the end of the thought process. But a good pro hears three completely different emotional landscapes. B flat major 7 sounds open and warm. A minor 7 sounds a little quieter, contemplative, and it brings the mood down. C7 sus4, it's floating and it's dreamy and it's unresolved on purpose. Now those three chords, they're from the same key, they're built from the same scale, but they sound like three completely different emotional worlds. So instead of asking which scale fits, the pro will ask which notes express the true nature of each of these chords. That's the mental shift you have to make so your playing will start to sound intentional and professional. Let's dig into some of the options that a pro might explore so you can start bringing that intentionality into your playing too. The first thing I want you to embrace is that not all notes are created equal. A great place to start building a more sophisticated approach to soloing is in the third and seventh intervals of each chord. Why do those two matter more than anything else in the chord? Well, in music theory, they're called guide tones because with just two notes, they define almost all of a chord's personality, quality, and harmonic direction. The third, well, it tells you what a chord feels like, major or minor. And that's the single biggest emotional fork in Western harmony. The seventh, it tells you where the chord wants to go. It's the note that creates tension, pull, and voice leading direction. Well, the root and the fifth, they give you weight and they anchor the sound, but they don't actually tell your ear what kind of chord it's hearing. Pros lead on the guide tones because those two notes express the true essence of the chord. Here's the easiest way to start practicing this. Move through the seventh chord voicings you already know, and instead of playing the whole shape, isolate just the third and seventh in time with chord changes. Let's take B flat major 7 here at the fifth position. The third and the seventh are D and A. And right here with it, A minor 7, hit the 5th position. The minor 3rd and the minor 7th are C and G. C7 sus4, it's a little different. Instead of the 3rd, we got the 4th, which is F, and that's suspended above the root, and the flat 7 is B flat. The Wichita lineman leaves that sus chord unresolved, but if we wanted to resolve it, we would just move that F down to E. And with those 6 notes, D and A, C and G, and B flat and F, you're already telling a story that the listener's ear can easily follow. Now, we can take those guide tones up and play them, say, in the 12th fret area. And that's just the start. You want to practice finding them all over the neck of the guitar. And once you get smooth and musical finding 3rds and 7ths, you've taken the first step to turning into one of those players that people talk about by saying they say more with 2 notes than most players do with 100. Hey, it's Charlie Long here. You know, I like to say the whole purpose of my channel is helping advanced beginners and intermediate guitarists get good. And if you feel like you need a better, stronger foundation to help you make that leap up to the higher levels of playing, I've got a great course available called the Lead Guitar Roadmap. We do a deep dive into theory, pentatonic scales, triads, 7th arpeggios, and I tell you how to put all of that stuff together. If you want to check it out, the link is in the description below. And as always, thank you for your support. The next idea I want you to embrace is this. The pros use the other notes in the scale, the 2nd, the 4th, and the 6th, to create musical tension and to set up the guide tones and the other chord tones, the root and the 5th. Let me show you what I mean. Over B flat major 7, I'm going to play this. C, D, A, C, A, C, and D. So all I did there was add the 2nd of B, which is C, into the mix, and it creates a complete musical statement because that C creates tension that really wants to resolve up to D, the 3rd. Over A minor 7, let's play A, B flat, A, G, and C. That's the root in the 9th, framing our guide tones, C and G. And over that C7 sus4, let's try this. F, we're going to bend E up to F, release it back down, play D, C, and a quick B flat, sliding back to that C root. So we have the 2nd, which is D, and the 4th, which is F, which is already built into the chord as a suspension. And there's so much tension created by bending up to that 4th and then playing the D, the 2nd, that wants to resolve down to the root. And the same with the B flat, which is the 7th, it wants to resolve up to the root. So there's tension and resolution all over the place. Lydian. All of those notes, all of which you have to say are correct. But did I actually say anything? Did playing those scales help you hear the harmony any more clearly? Of course not. Pro players think like composers when they solo. Amateurs regurgitate patterns. So why do guitarists play that way? I think ego is one part of it. It's fun to show off and just blaze through a lot of notes. I don't think it's laziness because I know you're out there practicing. But you're probably just practicing running scales rather than breaking them down and learning how the notes work. And maybe we just haven't been exposed to this kind of thinking, especially if we're rockers. Fire and flash, they're a lot more fun than worrying about harmonic sophistication. But there's no reason we can't have both. Now here's another trick my buddy in Nashville is working on. Getting the sound of the correct mode over each chord but not by running scales. You're probably thinking, well, how the heck do I do that? Every mode contains one note that gives it its unique sound and character. So what if instead of playing the whole mode, we just pull that special note into the ideas we've already been working on? Take B flat major 7. It's the 4 chord in the key of F, and the correct mode over a 4 chord is Lydian, so that would be B flat Lydian. What makes Lydian mode different from the major scale is that the 4th degree gets raised a half step. So for B flat, that would give us an E note. So check out this line. So that was E, F, E, C, D, A, and then I finished by playing G and sliding into A on the B string. So that E note, it's the raised 4th, and it announces the Lydian sound immediately. And then we bring in F, which is the 5th, C, which is the 2nd, moved up to D, which is the major 3rd. We hit A, which is the major 7th, twice. So in one lick, we've got the special Lydian note, both guide tones, the 5th and the 2nd for extra color. So over A minor 7, in the key of F, the correct mode is A Phrygian. Phrygian's defining feature is a flat 2nd, B flat. So let's play a 6-note descending scale fragment. C, B, A, G, F, and E. C and G, well, those are our guide tones. A is the root note, B flat is the note that makes it sound Phrygian, and F, it's the 6th, which gives us some color. So yes, that's technically most of a scale played in a straight line, but every single note in it is there on purpose. Now, over C7, in the key of F, the correct mode is Mixolydian, which can be thought of as a major scale with a flat 7th degree. And that flat 7th is what creates the character of the mode. And here's a great way to get that Mixolydian sound without ever running a scale. We're going to play a line that combines the C major triad with the triad a whole step below it, B flat. So coming out of A minor, we're going to play a couple of pickup notes, D and C, and then we're going to slide into the C triad with the A note thrown in, that's the 6th, and then we're going to play a B flat triad, and then a different C triad up at the 12th fret. By the end of that lick, we played all the notes of C Mixolydian, just not in a straight line. They're jumbled up and sequenced differently on purpose. So that's what my buddy in Nashville is actually chasing every time he loops those changes to Wichita linemen. Not new scales, not more patterns. He's chasing the relationship between every note and the chords underneath it. Hunting for those notes that reveal what the chord actually is moment to moment. And if you made it this far and you actually picked up your guitar while I was talking, I applaud you. This video isn't another quick tip. It's a little more philosophical and it's going to take some work to get the concepts down. But always remember, just memorizing scales is not the goal. Knowing a scale inside and out is. And now you know what that actually means. As always, I appreciate you watching. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I make a video every week aimed at helping intermediates and advanced beginners get good. Have fun with that guitar. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.